Hey everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa, and today I have such an exciting announcement for you. I'm going to be bringing to you the 31-day daily painting challenge for beginners, Acrylic August. To help me do that on the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
He's going to be helping make me big, make me small, help me see chat so that I can answer questions at the end of this. So how this is going to work is I'm going to tell you about the program for the first part of the video, and then we're going to open it up to questions. In this video, I'm going to explain what the program is, what you need to do it, when it starts, just everything you need to know to participate. And the first most important thing I want to tell you is participation is free. The only thing you've got to do is bring your own art materials. Everything else is provided for you. I'm so excited about this. Normally we do this in April, but I, for health reasons, was not able to do it this April. So we decided to move it to this August, which means you get an extra day on the challenge, which I know all of you are super excited about. How are you feeling, John?
Good.
You ready to make me eeny meeny?
Hey, sure.
Eeny meeny 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 me.
Now you
Okay.
can go over to-
Meeny me.
Now, normally we would say this is materials.
Normally we would say this is materials. Yes, that's true.
We would go materials, but this
Materials.
whole video is materials.
The whole video is materials and facts and information. So the first thing is this is a daily painting challenge open to beginners, open to everyone at all level. In fact, actually, it's not just beginners, it's any artist. We've done this for 5 years now. It's been an amazing transformative program. It transforms people's artistic journeys completely. In fact, this year I had to do the challenge for myself to help me recover from that health challenge that I mentioned earlier. As you might know, earlier this year, I had some mental health challenges and I had to take a lot of time off and was not able to record Acrylic April. During that time, I learned that I could not remember really how to paint or how to draw during my recovery. And part of my recovery was actually doing this painting. So many of you have asked me, what was the theme for this Acrylic April? It was total eclipse of the art. Because that's how I was feeling.
It was a Gen X pun.
It's a very Gen X pun. But that's really what I was going through. My first painting was like, I went back to my first daily painting, like maybe even before that. And each day that I did a daily painting, I would get a new skill or I'd recover a new idea. And it really brought me together. So in this journey, as we go through it together, you're going to see me going through it with you. So we're really like, this is the most together we're ever going to be able to do this. Now, I see a bunch of people in the live chat. I see Connie and J Dot and Shay Joe and Amanda Butler and Barbara C and Lisa B and Lisa P and Taylor Surset and Inel. Oh my goodness, there's so many wonderful people here in the live stream. Now, I'm going to go over the materials. I'm going to go over what you can expect. There's also a bunch of support videos for this daily painting challenge that I made, like how to do a daily painting, and that's like how to set it up and how to talk to your family or friends to give you the time to do a daily painting. Lots of advice on how to handle the emotional ups and downs of it. There's color mixing videos. There's just tons of support videos like on terms. Like if you don't know like any terms, there's a video that in 15 minutes can give you a quick run of the terms. Moderators can drop those there and you can find those in the Acrylic April playlist before. So I'm very excited about that. Are you excited, John?
I'm excited.
I'm excited. I know I'm rambling, but I'm just super excited because I've been, Heather C., thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. We are all pumped for Acrylic April. Now, it's Acrylic August. So normally we do this from April 1st to April 30th, and it's 30 daily paintings. But since we're doing it August, we get a bonus painting at the end of the month. And I am going to do something special with that extra day. I think we're all going to love, and I will cover that. So let's go over what you need to have if you want to paint along on the 31-day Acrylic August painting challenge. Let's go over that real quick. Now, first, you're going to need 8x8 canvases. You're going to need 30 of these for the whole challenge. And then on the last day, I'm going to up it to a 12x12 canvas so we can do our last painting as a big, beautiful representation of what we have learned. Oh my goodness, Janine, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So you're going to want 30 of these and one 12x12. Now, listen, if you don't want to do a 12x12, just do 31 squares. Why do I do squares for Acrylic April? I've been doing this for a long time in square, and the reason I picked square as my favorite shape for this challenge is that you could make the canvases much bigger and much smaller, and the position and placement of objects on the canvas never changes in relationship. So it really makes it easy to size up and size down.
Also makes beautiful installations.
Yeah, all 30 of them together is really quite something to see. And I think these 31 together with the big, beautiful central piece and then the 30 around it is really going to be quite a statement piece in your life, in your home. So those are the canvases. Now I am going to be painting on Art Alternatives Classic Cotton. I love this canvas line. I do sell it in my art store on my webpage. But you should be able to find these. This is a national brand, and you should be able to find these in tons of locations and online if you're not able to get it. And if you are overseas and you can't get Art Alternatives, you just want a good cotton canvas or a surface that gives you a good painting result. So like some people like to do the challenge in acrylic pads. Those are like paper pads, but with acrylic canvas in them, because they don't want to have all the canvases everywhere, and they have very successful things. Now, the next thing is the colors. Now, I tend to use the same colors from year to year, but I did make a change this year, and that's just because of what we're painting. So the first color is Ultramarine Blue. I'm painting with Acrylic by Sennelier. That tube is 316 if you're looking for that exact one. Angela Maxwell, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Laura Waller says, just curious, would it be possible to get the Traceables a day ahead? I grid draw them and it would be extremely helpful. Thank you. You will be getting a week's worth of Traceables ahead before each week. So definitely you will have those Traceables ahead. We have Phthalo Blue, Cadmium Red, Quinacridone Magenta. Now, in the line of paint that I paint, this is tube 671, and it's called Quinacridone Fuchsia. So it's a little different. They changed the name, but it's the same as Quinacridone Magenta. I have Cadmium Yellow, and then I changed the Hansa Lemon Yellow to Yellow Ochre, and that's because of we're doing some seasonal stuff. So I just needed the Yellow Ochre to be able to pull off our cool vibes that we're going to be painting. I've got Phthalo Green, Burnt Sienna, the Oxazine Purple, Mars Black, Titanium White. Now, if you check the description down below, these materials are listed out. The full class list is down there. And again, that's why this program is free. I know art materials can be pricey. I know doing challenges like this can be pricey. And I want you guys to be able to do it. So this way you can just invest in your art materials and you don't have to be worried about it. Now, don't forget Titanium White. Did I mention that one? Got to have Titanium White.
I think you did, but if not, it's worth mentioning twice.
Okay, it is worth mentioning twice. You'll use, here's another thing you need to know. You'll notice that I have the 2-ounce tube and the 200 milliliter tube, or the 6 fluid ounce tube. I use about a half to 2/3 of 2 ounces in my regular colors, and then I use twice the amount of white. That's why I have a big tube. So when you're trying to go, how much paint do I need? You're only going to need 1 tube of each color. You shouldn't need more of that, but I would get twice the white or a bigger tube of white because you just use it more. Laura Patterson says, you're truly an inspiration. This is a small thank you for all you have taught me. Thank you, Laura. I really appreciate that. Now, brushes. Brushes were an area where, again, I was sort of in recovery during this challenge. So I'm going to go over the first thing that you need to know about the brushes. And all of these are available. There's a class list on my website with all of the materials that I used during the challenge available for you there. So you can buy them and see them collected together also. But because I was just kind of a little bit out of it, I ended up using 3 different liners, and you'll see in the materials list on the website that there are 3 different liners. You don't need all 3, you need 1. And so I used a Princeton Select liner number 1. I used a Raphael Precision liner number 1 and a Raphael Precision liner number 0. Any of these are fine. I could give you a tip from my experience, which is to get 2 liners because liners tend to wear out. And it's just so frustrating when your liner blows out and you don't have another liner. So you might want to get 2. They're not too pricey, and that's the liners. Then the next is the round blender. This is a number 12 Princeton round blender. These are fantastic for blending for clouds. I think they're an essential brush for acrylic painting. I love them very much. Then, of course, the 1-inch Princeton Select Oval Mop. Now, on this one, when you go to get the oval mop, you don't want the black one. You don't want the white one. You want the one that's brown with the dark tips, the dark brown tips, right? Because that's the synthetic one, and you want to use the synthetic one. Then I'm also going to be using a grainer. Now, I will be using the Filbert grainer here or the Princeton Select grainer. They're both 3/8-inch Filbert grainers. You can make one of these yourself by taking a small filbert and taking a pair of scissors and just piecing out the edges of the brush to make them be good liners. But these are going to be really good for fur and for texture in the painting. I'm going to be using a couple angle brushes. I'm going to be using the Princeton Select Catalyst angle brushes in the, I can't read that at all, 3/4 inch and the 1/2 inch. Should also bring glasses. 3/4 inch and 1/2 inch is, I'm going to be using that. Making sure I'm not leaving any behind. All right. Then we're going to have a round. This is the number 6 Raphael Sepia round. This comes in a 2-pack, but I really like this round. It has a very sharp point. It really makes this challenge a lot easier. You're going to need a round brush with a good point. That's an important thing to have. Then I have 2D brushes. I have a number 8 Raphael d'Artagnan D brush, and this one is in hog bristle. And then I have a number 0 Raphael Textura D brush. So these are the 2 D brushes that I am using. I really like the Textura and I really like the d'Artagnan. I have 8, 4, and 0 in my brush bucket always. But for this challenge, we're only using this 8 and this 0. So I have 2 of them to worry about. If you just can't find them anywhere, you can use a filbert. You could use a hog filbert, a hog bristle filbert, and a synthetic filbert in similar sizes, and that would be a good exchange. And then lastly, but not leastly, is a number 8 Raphael d'Artagnan round. This is a hog bristle round. It's really nice for clouds and plant texture and landscapes, and we get into it a lot. So this is a nice brush to have. I like having a hog bristle round. Round, how now, brown cow? I also have a T-square. I provide traceables, so I highly recommend Serral paper so that you can do the transfer if you're not going to freehand. We talked about it earlier about you could get the traceable early and grit it in. There's a lot of ways to get the subject matter on your canvas. I'll demonstrate it for each one, but even though I might be demonstrating drawing directly on the canvas or using a traceable, there's usually 3 or 4 ways to get an image on your canvas. So that is the materials. I really just breathed into that. Now
it was just like you didn't even breathe. You were just like, that was like one. Got it out.
Right. We got to get that out. Now, the next thing is what is this? Well, this is where we're going to start meeting every day starting August 1st at 12 p.m. Eastern at this channel. And each day we're going to do a different painting. I'm going to be releasing a week of the challenge at a time, and that's because the editing it's very time intensive. And so you'll be seeing your week ahead of time. Right. And the first week is going to be very 1-2 hoot. It's going to be very beginner friendly. We're going to ease into the program very slowly. We're going to ease into it slowly, and we're going to build on skills. Each painting is going to build a skill that helps you paint the next painting, is going to build a skill that helps you paint the next painting. By the end of these 30 paintings, we're going to be ready for day 31, where we're going to do a gorgeous big painting that you're so going to love to hang on your wall. I'm so excited to share it with you. Shay Joe says, love you all both for your hard work. Yes. All right. Corey says, when will the website be updated for information for AA24? So the website should have those playlists coming up really, really soon. And then on top of that, the art store has a separate materials list that you can go shopping there. The description has all the materials and everything down below, and we will be putting this together as a whole program. On top of that, on YouTube, I have a playlist, Acrylic August 2024, and I will be keeping all the videos there.
Yeah, I wanted to add that this is more of a to give you some general understanding. We just got back from an event. We've had this huge thing. We are rapidly updating a bunch of the resources as quickly as possible. So please, please, please continue to ask. Support at theartsherpa.com. We're going to be getting them up as quickly as we can.
Yeah, stay on us.
keep checking the description down below. If you need anything, the Acrylic April group on Facebook is a great place to find resources.
That was what I was going to talk about next. The Acrylic April, which is good for Acrylic August. The Acrylic April group is
a general
on Facebook. And I know some people don't love Facebook, but I run a tight ship in my groups, and they are stress and drama free. It is just a place to share your art and talk to a lot of other nice artists. What's different about my groups than other groups? One is the encouragement and interaction that you'll get from the other members. We have really been blessed with the kind of people that have chosen to paint with us, and they are kind and they are helpful. And so if you're very, very new and you're super nervous, I'm going to tell you something I tell painters every year, and it changes their life. You tell the group, you tell them you're having a hard time. They're going to come in. This always makes me tear up a little bit. They're going to come in and tell you about how they felt when they started, and they're going to be there for you. They're going to be there for you the whole way. We are there for each other through this challenge, because a daily painting challenge is a strange thing. My students ask me all the time, what thing can I do to be a better painter? How can I get better painting results? And the number one thing that you can do to be a better painter is to paint often.
It's like the Mr. Miyagi way.
It is really just like that
daily work.
And what daily painting does is it breaks you down.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Navy SEAL training of art. It breaks you down, and it gets you out of your own way. Like at some point during the challenge, you're going to just give over to the art and just start painting, and it's going to be a huge breakthrough. Everybody has some breakthrough during the challenge. You have frustrating weeks, you have easy weeks, you have paintings you love, you have paintings you hate. Every art emotion that you could have, you will have over the 31 days.
And you will learn.
And you'll learn and so much.
Get so much stronger
as a painter.
As emotionally,
takes a year off your learning curve. It's really a powerful, powerful thing. Now, it can be hard to like set aside the time to do a daily painting. And again, that daily painting video, and I don't know if my moderators can find it, but how to do a daily painting from our original challenge, if we can share that video in chat. That's a really good video on just understanding how to talk to friends and family about needing the time. And then also how to be easy with yourself, because like, I get it. I'm a completionist. I'm a gamer. So if I set a goal for myself, I am all about it. I take it serious. That's awesome. But you know what? Life happens. Just like life happened to me this January, life happens to all of you. So this challenge remains up. It's recorded. If you can only go 2 weeks and then a life event happens to you and then you have to break up that 2 weeks later, you're not going to not get great results from the challenge. It is okay. You will still have a great result from your challenge. So I want you to be easy with yourself. If you have a sick day, if you have a hard family event happening, this is just something fun to do to grow as an artist. And I know you guys take it seriously, and I love that you take it so seriously. But I also want you guys to take just as seriously being kind to yourself through this process, because it's an awkward, hard process. You're going to be like sitting there questioning your life decisions around painting 15, right? And that's why I'm like, go to the Acrylic April group, which is still for Acrylic August, and get that support, because we've all been there. Now, the other thing is you might find this challenge in September or December or January. You can do the challenge anytime. And I have, 5 previous years before this. So there's a lot to do. We started this in 2019. So this is really, really something that we know a lot about. A lot of people have been through this challenge, and we've really seen this transformation again and again and again. Not to mention, if you're not into what I'm painting that day, there's probably another painting that you could do from one of the past challenges that you would love doing, and we totally allow that. Now, if you're an advanced artist and you don't do tutorials, you might be like, can I even participate in this? Yeah, I do word prompts. They are in the Acrylic April group.
Can I participate? Can I do it?
You can do it.
We can.
Do you want to do it?
No, I was just, that's existentially.
No, I didn't think you would.
Not me.
Existentially. I'm like, John, do you feel like doing the daily painting? We're so busy, but okay. John does it vicariously through me because he has to record and edit them.
I have a daily editing challenge.
All right. So that's the challenge. It's starting August 1st. It's free. Those are the materials. You can find that information in that description down below. Do you have questions? I'm here to take questions, if you have any about the challenge.
Oh, see, I saw someone earlier asking about being able to put all of the stuff in the store, in a single button thing. We're working on it, and
we're trying.
So at first we didn't do it because we were like, well, not everybody wants to buy all the stuff because they might already have a brush or a paint or a thing. So we just need to give them the list of all the stuff. And then we got a lot of people saying, well, we want all the stuff in a single button. And then when we tried to put it in a single button, we ran out of limits it was a technical limit of the store. So Yeah,
technically the store only lets us put 10 things in a single button, and obviously this is more than 10 things.
Right. So we're gonna have to have so now we're like, what? Why only 10? That's not even a variable resistance.
We're going to try to get him to raise the number if it's possible.
8, 16, 32. There should be some weird semblance of math that should be the limit, not some arbitrary number. 10.
Jenny says, is it possible to use a book instead of canvases? Yes, it is actually possible to do that. And we have people do that every year. And there's a huge support kind of micro group in the bigger group that does that in art journaling. And they, share tips like Dorland's wax to seal the paper. And they're really there for each other in that sort of art journaling thing. So we do have art journalers that do this program in their book as part of their art journaling. And they kind of mash it up and make it their own. It's really rather magical.
Ooh, what time? Well, are we going to drop these all at the same time?
Neha says, can someone please tell me what happened to the art Sherpa in January? I had a mental health challenge, and I ended up in the hospital for a good period. I was 3 weeks, and then in care at home. And what happened was I had a manic episode, and it caused me to have a neurological disruption where I couldn't remember how to draw or paint. It was very alarming. Yeah. And it took a long time for me to be able to just paint again. It was touch and go. So I was back to zero and having to start over again. So that's what happened in January.
And you can go back and see, Cinnamon and I have left up a lot of those videos so you guys can go through and see the experiences that we've gone through and how we've sort of managed that. And it's
you know what? I read Jenny's name wrong. Jenny, I'm so sorry. I don't have my glasses on.
That's okay.
Will there be a book, says Lynn Robertson? Yes, there will be a book. It won't be before the challenge. It will be written probably finished shortly after.
Concurrently with it,
yeah. And right now you can find books for, there's 3 books on Amazon for previous challenges. There's Bloom. There's the first multi-daily, first one where we kind of changed it up. The first year we wrote the book. And then we also have Abstract. So those 3 challenges are up there in book form. And we do try to do that. We do try to write a book that has step-by-step pictures, that has instructions, that matches the videos, so that if you're a person who's a learner that does well with that extra kind of written word where you take it in and you digest it and then you watch the video, we do try to provide that. The books are not free, but they're on Amazon and they're there if you want them.
But you get the mini books.
Yeah. You do get the mini books, which are what we do is we try to make little micro books. They're like little instructional booklets that you can find on the website, and those are free to download.
They just provide you a little assistance to when you're doing this. Is it possible to use 8x10 canvases? Should I tape off the extra inch on each end? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do, Beverly. I would if you're not ready to resize or constantly restructure, redesign the subject, then yeah, I would just tape it off and make it 8x8. That's what I would do. It looked kind of cool.
Or you could like even make it a vertical and then have a 2-inch space below where you could write the title below it and get like fancy.
There's a lot you could do to be creative there, and that's totally okay. Let me just say right now, whatever you need to do to get through this challenge is totally okay. If you need donuts, it's totally okay. If you need to paint at 1 a.m. because that's when you're creative, it's totally okay. If you need to do it on canvas pads, it's totally okay. It's if you don't have the exact brushes, it's totally okay. Now, it is an acrylic challenge. And that's something I get asked every year is, can I do this in another media? And I mean, like on your own personal thing, I'm not offended at that. But in the Acrylic April group, we do keep it to acrylic. I would like to remind everyone that you can paint in a watercolor style in acrylic paint. So that's a nice workaround that some people found. Mm-hmm. And we think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Total eclipse.
All right. Total
so what does
eclipse.
That mean? What is that as a theme?
As the theme.
Total eclipse of the art.
So Siobhan asked, what is the theme this year? Total eclipse of the art. When I came out of that manic episode and I wasn't able to draw or paint, which again, if you've done something your whole life and you suddenly find that you can't do it, that just your brain and your body won't work together anymore. And then we were coming up on an eclipse this year, and I thought in my delusion, I thought I would be better much quicker than I was. My doctors were very clear. They were like, oh, it's going to take you 4 months to heal from this. But I was like, 2 months, 1 month, just immediately. I just need some sleep. I just need, to get by on a little bit of extra rest and everything.
Is that you?
Yeah, it is me, but I don't know where I am. Oh, there I am. Oh, it's Scam Likely. Scam Likely is wanting to do the challenge too. So they had the eclipse going on, and I named it Total Eclipse of the Art because it's how I was feeling at the time. And then, as I came to accept that I was going to not be able to do it in April, you guys were actually the ones that suggested August. And that was such an incredible pivot for me, and I thank you so much for that, because I was so stuck on it has to be April, it has to be April. And when the suggestion was made to move it to August, I realized, you know what, I need to be easy with myself. I can't just like snap my fingers and make my brain be okay when it's not ready to be okay. And so we moved it to August, and I'm excited because now we have the 31 days and I get to do the extra painting at the end.
So can I add just a personal anecdote about Acrylic April and Acrylic August? That I thought that the abstract ones were so much fun.
Yeah.
I thought those are a great one. Like if you're having a hard time with a particular day, I would say.
The abstract one.
But the floral one too was so good.
Yeah, Flowers Bloom was a really good year.
And
yeah, Wave and Water. If you're having a hard time, don't go do Wave and Water. That's Wave and Water is if you're like, I need a challenge, because we did that during COVID and people had a lot more free time. You
were like, I can do push-ups on my knuckles. That was that year.
Wave and Water was a serious year where if you were just stuck at home, we were just painting all day. It was a whole thing. So Wave and Water, you want to go into like prepared. Lynn asks, what type of book paint journal would you recommend? I've seen sketchbooks and mixed media. What type should I look for? And do you have a preferred brand? So I have preferred things about it, and I'll tell you. First is what's called the weight of the paper. I have a pad here, and I can show you what I mean.
The paper weight was based on how much a ream of paper weighed.
Okay.
So that's why they get different weights.
So on paper, there'll be an area, and I don't know if we can zoom in here. There's some information down here.
Hold on.
Can you zoom in a little?
Go over here. Hold on, I go to this camera. Now you're asking me. See, we don't generally. No, it's fine. Give me just 2 seconds.
Didn't mean to throw that at you. So on paper, somewhere, they're going to tell you some important information. The first most important information is the weight. I feel like you need 100 pounds paper. Like 100, 110, 90 would be the lowest weight. I wouldn't do a pad that was below 90 pounds for acrylic. It just won't take the water. It just won't be resilient. You can get 8x8 pads, and you're going to want a smooth surface. This is the brand of paper that I recommend. Fabriano does make art journals. Fabriano makes multimedia pads, which are incredible. And they make them in the 8x8. I love my multimedia pad. And you will notice that it is 110 pounds and I have 120 pounds. The nice thing about the multimedia pads is they are perforated and the measurement on them is at the perforation. So if you buy the 8x8 pad, right, it's going to pull out 8x8.
It's the good perforation.
It's the good perforation.
It's called
so you're going to want
micro-perf.
hot press. You don't want to be bumpy. You're going to want 110 pound or 90 pound or higher, but this is right where I would go if I could. And I do like Fabriano. You know, Canson and Strathmore are other good paper companies that people like. What I will say about Canson and Strathmore is that while they're fantastic art companies, Fabriano makes its paper in-house and has done so for 750 years. So they're just not comparable. You know, they go out, they don't make their paper, they go out and bid on it and buy it, and so they bring in different lots. So there can be some quality variance in those two companies that can be challenging. Whereas with Fabriano, they really back it. So if there's ever a problem with the paper, they just replace it or they recall it. They just are very serious about it. And they have the best sizing on the planet.
Later, we'll go into this. I have such in love with this company and all of the cool things about them.
I'm not trying to make an ad for Fabriano and they didn't sponsor this video. I'm just telling you what my experience with them is.
We like them.
All right. Do we have another question I can answer?
I don't know. Let me look. I've been over here talking with you.
Oh, Tiffany's like, where do we purchase canvas pads in an 8x8 size? I don't know if we have 8x8 on our website. Try our website. Maybe if our moderators can look to see if we have an 8x8 pad.
I hope we do.
Other places you can look are Dick Blick and Jerry's. This is
come to our store first.
I mean, we want you to come to our store first. We have good prices. We try to be competitive. And if you're in North America, it's great. It supports us. Yeah. If you're in England, Jackson's Art Supply. If you're in Canada, I know King's Framing and Art. If you're Sydney, I know the Sydney Art Store. So you want to go to your art stores. They're on. Texas Art Supply has a very good online thing too. So if we don't have it, or you have to shop internationally, you might want to try that.
Yeah. It's very nice when you support our store. It helps us turn our lights on, and we do our best to support you if you ever have any issues. And you can know that the product is always coming to you directly, like through the right proper chains. Like it all comes, through and it helps support all the artists along the way. So we do it right.
Yeah, and it doesn't circumvent like painting. It's a good supply chain.
Yeah, it's good.
Letitia asks, I came in late. Where do I get the mini books? They are on the website and they're in a drop down menu that actually will say mini books, and you could keyword search them, and past years have them there. If you can't buy the book on Amazon, you can always just download each little PDF. You don't have to print them out. I know every year somebody's like, I can't afford to print them all out. They can just be digital. They don't have to be printed out. So you can have them downloaded on your phone or device and scroll through them very easily as a PDF. And those are just available for you on the website. Can the pad be a watercolor pad? Vicky, yes, it can. Though my 2 cents would be consider doing hot press over cold press, because the cold press can be real rough and it's thirstier. I don't know how to explain it, but it's thirstier. So it just is a more challenging paper to work with when you're new. If you're very familiar with it and you're like, no, I like cold press, I like the bump, roll with it. I too like cold press and I like the bump. I just recognize that for beginners, the bumpiness can be really, really frustrating. So if you are a beginner and you're wanting to use a pad, hot press is the word that I would look for. That means smooth. Elizabeth Palladino can use the Fabriano white pad. It says it's drawing paper. Yeah. And I think you might be able to get away with Bristol too.
Yeah.
Bristol paper, you might be able to get away with Bristol, even though it's not the right weight. It's like 80 pound. The way they do the Bristol paper, you might be able to get away with it.
That white paper is
white is really great.
If you seal it, you can do anything to it.
Yeah. And I have stuff like that, how to finish paper. Like if you want to seal paper, it's really not that hard. You don't have to gesso it. You don't have to prep it like that. You could just paint it with 2 or 3 coats of white acrylic paint to seal it.
Of course you can use acrylic pens, Dawn.
Yes, you could do the whole thing in acrylic pens.
That'd be fun. You know what? You have a whole box of them right over there.
Any acrylic, airbrush, liquid acrylics, high ink acrylics, any acrylic ink pens, acrylic, any of that. We allow kind of multimedia as long as most of the painting is acrylic. You could use liners. You could just use whatever you want. These are Sennelier abstract liners. You can use anything like that you want that's acrylic. You can use any brand of acrylic that you want. So if you're like, man, I'm on a budget and my only art store is Walmart, by the way. Walmart's going to be getting better and better art supplies in as the year goes on.
We hope, yeah.
We hope. We're really hoping, and I will make huge announcements if it happens. Not I don't think it with my name on it, but you know, I just might have inside information. But that said, right now, if you're like, I think deco over plaid if possible. I think deco over plaid. Plaid is fantastic. Deco just has the mixability. They make the color correct, so you can get the phthalo blue and you can get the correct colors in the bottle paints. They actually have them, and then also the Americana has them. So if you're in that space, that's super okay. People do the challenge with that paint every year. It does make a few things harder, but it's totally doable.
Do you see Beverly there? That's a good one. What's the name of the wax that you use to keep the acrylics from sticking together?
Dorlands. Dorlands. Dorlands wax. I know, I'm just like, that was my first thing when I was talking to art journalers, and I was like, what mad alchemy is this? Acrylic sticks to acrylic. You can't paint acrylic in a pad like that. It will just become one block of a book. And they were like, no, Dorlands wax. And I tested it out, and I was like, this stuff absolutely works. So Dorlands wax. And Letitia says, thank goodness for Walmart. I know, it's like sometimes that's the only creative center we have, and I really appreciate them being out there.
I really appreciate that both Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, and Dollar General all have really expanded their creativity section. And
Tuesday morning.
Yeah, and also they've, you know, some of those stores have been improving their availability for groceries, creating, you know, food where there's food deserts. So I'm
just thinking places that you wouldn't expect that you can find art supplies in.
Right. Yeah.
But if you're in the South and you know Tuesday morning, they have some good stuff. It's a good place to sometimes find easels or products or paint or things like unexpectedly. Kohl's too. So, you know.
Now I want to go to Waffle House.
Now you want to go to Waffle House?
I don't know how we got there, but.
So we're going to be starting this August 1st, and we're going to be doing it at 12 p.m. Eastern. Starting them, each day will be a premiere. You'll see the stuff scheduled out. The Traceables, which you can download from the website, will be up. The whole week will be up before we start. It will be before the challenge starts, so you have a chance to get your first week all prepped up. I totally lost my thread of where I was going.
I don't know. I was sort of rolled here because
I was going somewhere great, but I'll come back to it.
Lulabelle just says that there's a place in the UK called Biology and What? And I mean, that just sounds like a cool store. Like you're just walking by and there's some place called Biology and What? I would have to go into that place.
I would also have to go into that place.
But you had a thought that you were having.
I was having a thought.
Was it about Dorland's wax?
No, it was about, so we start on the 1st. We're meeting every day at 12 p.m. They're also going to be shorts. These are 1-minute time-lapse videos of each painting, and they're going to drop the day before the painting the next day. So you'll see the short painting before the next day. And what I like about the shorts is that you can watch the painting process in time lapse and then come do the real time painting. It does help. Those two, the step-by-step real time painting and then being able to sort of like look at the time lapse really helps you see process. So that's why we bothered to do a short every single day. So those will be dropping each day the day before, so you'll get a little peek at what the next day's work is going to be like. And those will drop at 1 o'clock.
Okay, 1 o'clock.
On the day before, so they'll probably be dropping as we're even in classes. I may have to move them.
Who knows?
You know what? Maybe we'll do it right before. I'm rethinking that. I'm going to reschedule them to 11:45 so you can see them before the video starts.
Okay.
That way we're not in conflict. Let's just make it easy. We don't need to be in conflict to see our stuff. It doesn't need to be like one or the other. I have all the scheduling power. I can make the decisions. I'm so silly. Corey says, when is daylight savings for you, or it will not affect us like in April? It shouldn't affect you. So the world clocks should all be adjusted so that my 12 p.m. Eastern will automatically show what your time is on YouTube where you live. So, you know, if I'm 12 p.m. Eastern. If you lived in California, it would show Pacific time instead of Eastern time on your YouTube thing. So it automatically adjusts your time for you. That's the thing YouTube does.
So
I don't do that.
It does that.
I don't do that. I just tell you my time zone just in case, you don't have access to that.
We don't all have to agree on what time it is in Greenwich.
I think we do have to all agree what time it is on Greenwich. That's the whole point.
But it does automatically. It doesn't just tell you what Greenwich
it doesn't.
It doesn't just give you -12.
Oh, yeah. So daylight saving should not affect us at all. Mary says, do you have a preference as to painting on an easel or lying flat on a desk? For your back health, lying flat on a desk can be challenging because you're bent over. So if you're going to lie flat on a desk, you need to have a timer. So you stand up about every 30 and 40 minutes because you can get into a painting and just forget to move. It's not, it'd be like all like the Hunchback of Notre Dame painting there. So it's important to stand up. It's important to stretch your legs. And it's important to make sure you're taking care of your back. I like painting at an easel, but I paint at a tilted table for the camera. And I personally like at least some tilt on my canvas so that I can see it better. So either an easel or a tilted table is what I like personally. But I know a lot of people paint in their lap or paint on a table. And my whole thing on that is just be careful of your back and recognize that you've got to stretch and move and take care of yourself. Ivy says, will putting wax paper between the pages of Fabriano keep them from sticking? It can help. And then Don Boger says, how small can we go for an art journal? Well, art journals can be like an inch by an inch. So on Etsy, they sell them like an inch by an inch art journals. And I've seen people fill them out. So there's no sort of size down. I would say there's a size up limit. People don't generally do 48, 60. And you can get 8x8 pads. So you should be able to do that. You could get, I think you might be able to even get 4x4. 4x4 tiles are pretty common. So 4x4 pad should be pretty easy to find. It wouldn't be like a specialty go to Etsy thing. I'm so funny. I'm like, but there's 1-inch pads on Etsy.
There could be. But
so those two, did I miss any from earlier? Because sometimes I don't catch it as it scrolls by.
Are you putting wax paper between the pages of Fabriano pad to keep them from sticking?
Yep. So everything here, description down below. You can find more resources on the website. Traceables will be there.
Sure we didn't miss anything here.
And they'll be downloadable, and use the Ceril paper. We've got videos on how to transfer on a paper. The first two videos are already posted up where you can see them and hit the remind button. And as I'm getting them in, I'll be posting up that first 7 days for you guys to see. And I'll be trying to post a week ahead. I might get 2 weeks ahead, but it just depends on how editing goes.
Right.
Editing takes a second, and we're woo, getting it done because I'm in the middle of my daily painting too. I just do it at a different time than you guys do.
Yeah.
And I have to say it's been very effective for me. As I've been going through it, it definitely has helped my art. And I think Saturday we're doing quite a complex painting, and I think you're going to see that I'm much more back to my old self. And so that's that. Any specific sketchbook? I really, really, really like Fabriano. I do. I like Fabriano, and again, if you go back to the video earlier, I talked about the weight of paper and the type of paper and the type of books that you want to get. That's just a little bit earlier in the video. Are there art journals in your art store? I believe there are, Elizabeth. I believe we do have art journals in our art store. The reason I say believe is because we add products every single day to the store. Oh, maybe you didn't know that. We add products every single day to the store. And we're just going through so many products. We're adding, as we get amazing art companies to agree to work with us, we'll add their entire product line to the store. So we're always adding things to the store. And by the way, if there's something you all wish was in the store, write support@theartsherpa.com. And if we can put it in the store, we will. I don't know why I've never said that to them before.
What's that?
That if there's an art material that they want and we don't carry it, write us at support@theartsherpa.com. And if we have the ability to carry it, we will put it in the store for you.
Yep. Yeah. Now, if you're painting along and this year and you're using Procreate or watercolor, where can we post up that stuff?
The Art Sherpa official.
The Art Sherpa official.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're going to do the challenge in oil pastels, digital, or watercolor, we keep the Acrylic April group for acrylic, but you can come over and share your paintings at the Art Sherpa official. I have another group, the Art Sherpa official, just as nice as Acrylic April. There's just a few more people in there. There's 50,000 people in there, many of them who also did the Acrylic April challenge and who have been through their first painting and second painting, and they will do the same for you there, which is to be encouraging. So if you did it in watercolor and you're having a hard time and you drop it in the Art Sherpa official group on Facebook and you say, I'm having a hard time, you're going to have a swarm of people coming and supporting you there as well. So that support is a universal thing. The two groups, the Art Sherpa official, you can share it in any media. Any tutorial that you do with me in any media, you can share in the Art Sherpa official. That's what that group is literally created for beginners to share their paintings. We don't even do, there's no sales in there. There's no marketing. There's no professionals like trying to get clicks. It's just people learning how to paint, supporting people learning how to paint. It's magic. So that's the Art Sherpa official, and the other group is Acrylic April. Now, to join those groups, we have questions, and we have questions not because of anything other than we're making sure bots aren't in the group and spammers aren't in the group. It's a human test.
So I'm always curious about these because it's been a while since we've gotten questions about interesting material use.
Mm-hmm.
Then. Have you ever used aloe gel to make a surface look soft?
I have not, but I will check that out.
That's an interesting. I'm not sure how that's a biological gel that would react with things. It's mostly water.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I've never heard of that before.
Desist Dawdling says, any tips on keeping paper from curling? There's a few things that you can keep paper from curling. There's a process called stretching paper, and you can look that up on YouTube, how to stretch paper, and it's kind of a complicated, fussy process, but it can prevent curling. If you don't want to remove the paper from your pad, some people really find that painting the back side of the paper first and then paint the front side of the paper. So they paint the back side with, like, say, white acrylic, and then they paint the front side, and when they're both painted, it makes sure that there's even distribution of moisture across the paper. Another thing you can do is tape it down and allow it to dry fully while taped, and not remove the tape until it is dried fully. So to recap, check out how to stretch paper. That's a great way of preventing curling. And if you have the time and ability to do that, I love it. It's a great way to go. It's a good way to go. The other tip that I have is to paint the back side of the paper and the front side of the paper with the coats of white, and that should help stabilize it, and to tape it down. Oh, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Oh, Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay. Lindsay is usually with us right at the dawn. It's so good to see you coming. I hope you're doing this Acrylic April this year, Lindsay. I'm really excited about it. And Misty's like, wish you were painting today. Well, Saturday, we are really going to be painting.
Lots.
Saturday is going to be a nice big 3-hoop painting. So we're really, because we're going to have that first week, again, is 1-2 hoot. It's an easy week. We're dipping our toe into the daily because we're just trying to, in that first week this year, for myself, I needed to make it where I didn't put so much pressure on myself I couldn't do the next day. So I made sure that I picked projects that I knew I could do, I knew I could complete. And if I needed to soften things for myself, I did. And I didn't start ramping up the challenges until I felt within myself that those skills were coming back. And what I'm hoping is that because I had to go through that journey, it takes you through that journey with me. It kind of like slipstreams you along in the art flow.
Into the art flow.
Oh, and so I see a question, but I missed it. Put down, it's very hot in California. Are there any suggestions to keep acrylic moving and not drying up on me? Yes. Satin glazing liquid slows down the drying time of your paint, can give you some, in dry climate, it can give you maybe 10, 15 extra minutes before it goes sticky for blendability, right? Because when you're in a really hot climate, what does the acrylic do? It kind of hits a sticky stage, right? Where the brush starts dragging through the paint. The glazing liquid doesn't prevent it from ever being sticky. It still has to dry. The sticky stage is part of its drying process, but it will open up or lengthen the amount of time that the paint stays wet and juicy for blending. That's one. Two, a Stay Wet palette. Those are listed in the description down below. Those will keep your paints fresh. 3, a small mister bottle with water. Sometimes just misting the air, like up high. You're not trying to get water drops on anything. This is a micro mister, and it doesn't drop water droplets on my art. I can go mist up high, and it just creates a little bit of humidity. And then finally, a humidifier near your desk. If you do a little tabletop humidifier, it can help it from being so dry because you're trying to like get moisture back in the air.
Right.
Deceased Dawdling says, so proud of you, so grateful for your hard work and bringing us your talent. You are so grateful. Thank you for hanging in with me. I was super scared that me being sick this year was going to just implode my whole life. And I was so happy to have the support that I had. It was really grateful. Gwen says, in abstract acrylic, what is the best to substitute for Cad Red? In the abstracts, and I've tested them all, I think it's really either got to be their primary red or their Cad Red Light.
Yeah.
Those 2 pouches. The primary red, I don't remember its number. It might be over one of those things. But the primary red or the Cad Red Light. The Cad Red Deep is just a little too deep in that line. So that's what I like. The primary red or the Cad Red Light. In my personal opinion. Having painted with all of them and changed my mind like 25 times, that's where I have landed finally.
That seems reasonable.
That seems reasonable, right? Okay. All right. And again, I just want to remind you that this challenge is meant to be fun and meant to be playful. And while we should take it seriously and be committed as best we can to the daily painting process, you've got to remember that life happens. Life happens to all of us, and you've got to be really gentle with yourself. Like if you have to miss a day, if you have a cold, if something comes up, you can finish the challenge later. Just don't give up on yourself. That's my thing. Life throws us curveballs, but just keep betting on you. That's what I'm saying with this. That's what I hope you'll do in this program is keep betting on yourself. Ann DaCosta says, I learned so much from you and I will forever be grateful. I am forever grateful for you, Ann DaCosta. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All right. If I missed any questions?
I don't think so. I've been trying to, you've been doing a pretty good job of catching them as they come.
All right. So the next thing is that Saturday we're going to have a big painting. That's our last kind of class lesson before the program starts.
Big hurrah.
Oh, if you're a patron, we're still going to do our Zooms. That isn't going to change. You'll have some Zoom classes during August.
Yeah.
So if you're, and if you want to support us in doing these kind of free programs and you have extra resources and you're like, oh, I've got a lot beyond the materials, I am on Patreon.
Yes.
And we do a lot of cool things there at different levels. And so go check that out. I feel like I give some very interesting rewards. Some of my favorite rewards are Zoom classes where you can interactively paint with me. And we kind of talk and chat. We meet up or discounts in the art store. So like at a certain level, you get discounts in the art store. You can get coaching. There's a lot that not coaching, art guidance. So there's a lot that you can do through that. So you can check that out over on Patreon. If you're already a patron on our website, you're good. You're already there.
Yeah.
You're totally covered. You don't have to switch to Patreon. And if you don't like Patreon, we have a way to patron us on our website.
You have options.
We have options. You can even do it on YouTube here. So I try to give you all the options you want, and then you just figure out where you feel most comfortable putting your credit card. That's really all it is. Yeah. So you've got the 3, the website, Patreon, and YouTube, and whatever works best for you, I support. Thank you so much.
Exactly. Thank you, guys.
Oh, that's a good question. What is the average length of the tutorials? An hour. Now there'll be some longer ones because we're gonna right, as we do skills, it'll be like, how like when you're working out and you're just kind of pacing along and then you just sprint. Every once in a while we're gonna go, and then we'll ease it up, ease it up, and then go. And ease it up and ease it up and ease it up. I have a pretty good pacing for that. So, but most of them run about an hour because I recognize that you guys following along, it takes you about twice as long sometimes to follow along. So that seemed like a nice place to dial it in.
Yeah.
And my recommendation is don't paint along during the premiere come watch, chat, ask questions, see it, visit, socialize, and then paint it on the rewatch.
Right.
Because then you've already seen it. You've kind of had your questions answered. If you needed something from me, it's like, I'll be right there being able to answer it. And we will have moderators answering questions. I will be in and out answering questions. So, get that support while you can get that support.
That's pretty good.
And just installing. Yep. The theme is total eclipse of the art. That's the theme. Artist having hard time coming back. Woo! And DeCosta says, I paint in football minutes. I love that I paint in football minutes. That's brilliant. I'm gonna use that in future. Not that I understand it slightly because I recognize when the football game continues on and on and on and on and on. So I get football minutes. I don't really get a lot in sports, but I understand that. Corey says, are there any options through PayPal or is it just credit card? I think we have a PayPal way.
You can always email support@theartsherpa.com and our team will help.
We have
you
a few
figure
people
that
that do PayPal and like PayPal. And I don't remember exactly what that is, but support@theartsherpa.com and they will talk you through the PayPal. It's easy. I just don't remember where it is, but it's there.
Yep.
I know it's there. And I love that people are loving the theme. Moonlight Rose loves the theme. I love that. And Jen says that loves it. And Donna Cox is like also loving the football minutes. And Ivy agrees. That is just super funny. So this is what the program is going to be. It's what we're going to be doing in August. Again, it's going to be fun. I hope you all will join me on this journey. I really do. I think you're going to love it. It's going to be a great year. Even though it was a really hard year, I think maybe it was the year I needed to have and the year we needed to have as a community, because this is like going back and catching, our Acrylic August have been getting more and more challenging in some years and like waving water, right? And so now I'm kind of glad that we're going back to a more beginner friendly thing so we can bring more people through the whole program.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited that it worked out this way. I think we're all going to like it a lot. And remember, if you're like, oh, I don't really do tutorials, I have word prompts. They are based on mental health and recovery. And they are in the Acrylic April group and you can use them to be your creative guidance. Oh, and everything in our groups is approved. So we do approve posts. We do post approval, but we'll always communicate with you. And I never want you to feel bad. If we don't approve a post, it's usually over some technical difficulty and is easy fix, like some labeling thing or something. And don't even worry about it. It's very chill. We have nice moderators and we are not art cops. We are ambassadors to art.
Yeah.
So you can feel confident in any of those spaces. Bonnie, is there a list so we can pre-print the traceables? The first week will be up and all those traceables will be up before August 1st. So you'll have that first week and I will be making sure you are no less than a week ahead on those. So I know you guys like to be like kind of like early and prepped. So this year I'm like, we're going to make sure you're early and prepped with those resources. So I'm very excited about that. And there's not an acrylic round on every canvas. If there was, I would have let you know all those colors ahead of time so you could have pre-painted all 30 canvases. But we didn't do an acrylic round on every canvas, so there's no way to do that this year. We tried some different methods of getting the images on. So that's why we don't have those all early. And Jamie says, what brand of paint do you paint with? I paint with Acrylic by Sennelier, and I paint with Golden Artist Colors. Pretty much the two brands that I paint with in the studio, mostly Sennelier. So that's the brand of paint that I really like. I also like their student paint, which is the abstract acrylic, and that's a more economy paint, and it's very high quality for being an economy paint. Misty Armstrong says, yeah, I'll have to come back to paint because I will be at a hospital waiting for my granddaughter to be born on the 2nd. Well, congratulations. That is a fantastic reason to have to be flexible with the program. And that's exactly what I mean. Grandbabies are being born. Yeah. And they happen on April 2nd. And that's a big deal, right? So like as we're doing the challenge, you've got to be flexible and your life has to work with it or it won't work. Diary of an Endurance Rider. Are we going to get a sneak peek? Well, patrons see everything early. So they get the sneak peeks. And then you guys are going to get weeks ahead. So you'll get a week and then you'll get a week. So you'll see a week ahead of the program. Maybe two if we edit fast enough. but it's editing takes a minute. Editing takes a second. So I think we're going to be a week to 2 weeks ahead of y'all on the program, which I'm kind of excited about.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've covered it and we kind of know what's going on. I'm so excited. I hope you guys will join me in this. I hope I've convinced you to go ahead and take the leap on daily painting. I really, truly believe that nothing helps, and this has been my experience, and it's certainly saved me this year, that nothing helps you be a better artist than painting often. And if you can paint every day, man, that creates some incredible growth and incredible well-being. And then before I go, how long will it take for each day's project? The classes are going to be around an hour. So you want to kind of schedule. I find that people following along, because you got to watch the video, pause the video, watch the video, pause the video, double the time of the video for your own painting time. But again, take your own pace. You can paint a little bit, walk away and come paint it. You don't have to paint it all in one session in a day. You could paint it in different segment sessions. You could paint a little in the morning, paint a little at noon, paint a little in the evening. All right. So I want you guys to be good to yourselves and be good to each other. And I will see you at an easel real soon. Bye-bye.